Hello, hello, hello. You can see the title. I wonder if this is vertical or not. It should be. Hey there, how you doing? I wish I had a better angle on this. It's kind of hard to get the right angle here. But I'm gonna pull in so you can see what Camille's saying. So if you see the description, we're here fighting against the Ag-Gag Law Bill 156. It's a lot to get into today, but essentially the government is asking the jury or the judge to repeal a bill that we brought to court, a law. Oh shoot, what happened there? Sorry guys, I'm just fairly newbie at this. I'm going to try to get in close to Camille here so you can actually hear what she's saying. I'll just give you one example of the impact that this investigation has made. Regan Farm, the pig farm outside London, Ontario, and in 2020, Animal Justice did the last legal undercover expose at Regan Farm before the Ag-Gag law came into effect. On the investigators' first day on the job, they witnessed a mother pig, a pregnant mother pig, being sliced open while she was still alive in an illegal C-section. Her piglets were ripped outside of her stomach, they were thrown onto the filthy concrete floor, and she was then killed. The farm was later convicted on the basis of that undercover footage, and this mother pig would have suffered and would have died, all without anybody knowing, had the eyes and the ears of the public in the form of that investigator not been there. If the government had passed these laws sooner, that cruelty would never have seen the light of day. And Regan would have walked away unaccountable. And that is why we fight. It's because whistleblowers are the eyes and the ears of all of us on farms. They're not criminals, they are heroes. We fight because the public has the right to know what happens in the food system. We fight because secrecy breeds suffering, and sunlight is the best disinfectant. So today we say loudly and clearly to the government, we will not go back. We will not let powerful agencies and their lobbyists write the public laws of this province. We will not let the government silence compassionate people who are simply trying to tell the stories of animals trapped in the food system. And we will never collectively stop fighting for the animals, for the pigs, for the chickens, for the cows, for the billions of beings living and dying, trapped in the system that treats them like commodities and not like sentient individuals. The courtroom behind us may decide the future of ag laws in Ontario, but the real power is out here with all of us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for standing strong even in this heat. And thank you most of all for refusing to stay silent, for refusing to let them get away with it. Together we will keep fighting so that the truth is no longer hidden. Thank you. My name is Jessica Scott Reed. I am a journalist, and I am a co-applicant in this case. I joined this lawsuit because ag laws hinder my ability to do my job. I report and opine on animals. Animals who are hidden that would otherwise remain hidden behind closed doors. In my work reporting on animal agriculture, these people are often the only conduit between what happens behind those closed doors and the public's right to know. Ontario's Security from Trespass and Protecting Food Safety Act criminalizes the act of exposing cruelty on farms. It doesn't protect animals. It protects secrecy. It doesn't defend food safety. It defends corporate image. And of particular concern, it criminalizes journalism by proxy, cutting off access to raw and disturbing footage and first-hand accounts that inform my reporting and the reporting of other journalists who seek the full truth, not just accounts by industry spokespeople. The court agreed that this provision within the Act violates the right of freedom of expression under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. This matters because when laws are written not to protect vulnerable, but to shield those in power from accountability, they chip away at the very foundation of a free press and an informed public. Without whistleblowers, activists, undercover investigators, and journalists who spotlight their findings, the horrors that occur in factory farms, pigs screaming in gas chambers, calves violently ripped from their mothers, injured chickens suffering without veterinary care would remain invisible. It's because these realities are hard to see that they must be seen, that they must be visible, must be allowed to be visible. My role in this lawsuit was simple: to stand up for the truth, for transparency, for the people brave enough to bring that truth to light, and for the animals who deserve to be centered in their own stories. Journalists don't create stories. We uncover them, reveal them, and shape them for broad public consumption and comprehension. Without whistleblowers, investigators, and activists, many of these stories, my stories, the animal stories, would remain buried, just as these industries would prefer. We are here today to remind this court that the public has a right to know how its food is produced, what the animals in this system are forced to endure, and that journalists have a right to these stories. Silence is the goal of Ag-Gag laws, but truth and transparency, the people who fight for it, for the animals, we are loud and we aren't going away. Hi. Thank you all so much for being here today. My name is Bianca. I'm with the Animal Alliance of Canada. We're here alongside Animal Justice to make sure that animals remain at the forefront of this appeal. We've been working on animal affection and animal agriculture issues since 1990. Two of my colleagues are inside the courtroom now. So we just wanted to say thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. This is incredible, and the turnout in this heat is amazing, and I can't thank you enough for all that you guys do for the animals. All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed that warm-up we had earlier. Now we're really going to shout. Are you ready? What are farms trying to hide?
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 What are farms trying to hide? protection.
What do we want?
Freedom of expression.
What do we want?
Animal protection. Freedom of expression.
What do we want?
Animal protection.
What are farms trying to hide?
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 Ontario Ag-Gag.
Strike it down!
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 What do we want?
Freedom of expression!
What do we want?
Animal protection!
What do we want?
Freedom of expression!
What do we want?
Animal protection!
What do we want?
Freedom of expression!
What do we want?
Animal protection!
Protect animals, don't hide them.
Protect animals! Don't hide them!
Protect animals.
Protect
What's up, guys? Thanks so much for being here. Just gonna move over to this other spot here where it's not as loud, I guess. Let me know if you can hear me, how the volume is. If you have any questions about what we're doing here. I feel like this is lower than it was yesterday. How you doing, guys? How's your day going? So we're in Toronto right now, and we are, let's see, standing up for our fundamental freedoms of expression. So in Canada, they've decided, or in Ontario, the government tried to pass a bill that would conceal our right to to go onto farms, to expose any cruelty that was happening there. Even if you're an employee and you exposed what was happening there, you could be charged $15,000 and be charged under the, I think there was a criminal act as well. Even though they already have like trespass laws and stuff like that, this was an overreach by the government that tried to really push this through. And it's funny because it's not like, I don't even feel like there was a lot of arm farm investigations going on in Canada and Ontario at the time. There was an exposure of mink farms by Malcolm Klimowitz, if you want to take a look up with that. But really, like, there wasn't a lot going on. And so I think it was basically because people are becoming more aware of what's taking place with our farm system and how we treat animals, because we're doing vigils and we're posting those videos, and I think there's a bunch of farmers that are bent out of shape over it. They talk about being transparent and all these things, yet they're not. And they're trying to sneak laws through that would prevent us from expressing our fundamental freedoms of expression here in Canada and Ontario. That's a chartered right, so we're allowed to expose wrongdoing if it's in the public interest. As well, like, whistleblowing is just common in a lot of these countries, so why can't we expose, and what are you trying to hide? So we won our court case against the government of Ontario. They kept a few parts of the gag law in. One was that we couldn't feed water to the animals because they said it was a biosecurity issue. Now you imagine on a day like today, like, it is so hot right now. I'm just dripping. I drove by some slaughterhouse trucks today, and those poor animals, and I did a live stream yesterday, those poor animals, they're suffering. It's absolutely horrendous what they're going through. One of the trucks I saw, I know, was driving from Ontario to Quebec because they didn't stop on the highway near where the slaughterhouse I was at yesterday. And that was just like an hour ago. So this trucking company is bringing these poor pigs all the way from Ontario to Quebec in the hottest part of the day. And so this just goes to show you that this industry talks about how they care. They talk about, that they treat their animals right, or they do some sort of welfare thing. They don't. They don't even do their welfare, let alone, like, we obviously agree that you can live without eating animals and treating animals like commodities. So it's very ludicrous and insane that these poor beings are going from Ontario all the way to Quebec. That's, you're looking at least 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of transport in the hottest time of the day. And yeah, I mean, like, if you think about it, you're in a metal box, you're confined, you're sliding around. And I have video just even driving on the highway of them panting and them really suffering on the highway. So now they got to spend, I don't know how many hours to do that. And obviously they can die of heart attacks and strokes and stuff like that. So hi there, Allison. How are you? We're just in Ontario and we're challenging the government's challenge of the ruling by the judge saying that we can whistleblow, that we can expose wrongdoing on farms, and that we don't have to be a certain distance away from slaughterhouses to express our fundamental, freedoms of expression here. And so we have a bunch of activists here. I kind of just went down the line and showed a bunch of them with their signs. This gag bill was shoved through the Ontario legislature in 2020. It was finalized and went through a day before our beloved Regan Russell was killed at a slaughterhouse here in Burlington, Ontario. She was run over. And if you don't know about that story, I highly encourage you just Google. You'll be able to find what happened to Regan and what took place. And leading up to this gag bill being implemented, the truckers seem to be very aggressive. And so generally when we do our street outreach, we're putting up the peace signs. We're just trying to, sorry, not street outreach. When we're bearing witness, we're just trying to, maybe convince them in the nice way that they shouldn't be doing this job, but also keeping in mind that we might have a chance to bear witness if we're nice to the drivers, because sometimes they can just time the light and then take off. Well, leading up to Regan's death, one of the things was that we wouldn't be able to stop the trucks at the gates anymore. And if you go and listen to the Star's expose of this guy's explanation of why the conversation that took place between him and dispatch and how he disobeyed their orders, then you might be able to paint a bit of a different picture on, what took place there that day. What do you suggest be done if my cows are just letting loose, live wild and free? They eat up and tear up the fields of produce. Tippy C, I'm not sure what you mean. We massively breed these cows into existence. Change isn't going to happen overnight, but I have a friend named Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. She's a former Texas rancher, and she changed her farm into a sanctuary. And she's vegan, and she's been an advocate for many years. So you can do that. I'm sure there's lots of people willing to fund you, and you can probably basically do the same type of work you're doing now, except, betraying the animals that are on your farm that you likely maybe even built relationships with, and then, sent them to be brutally executed. So that's probably what you can start with. Yeah, I remember when that happened. Yeah, it was terrible. I was almost there that day. It plays back in my head. Often. Hey, you out? Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. It's so great to see you.
Nice seeing you
Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, next we the free one. Hopefully I'll be.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Just saying goodbye to another lovely activist. So what do you got to say, Tippy? You're going to become the Rancher Advocacy Program. Thank you, VSL. There's lots of places that can help you get started. Let's not betray the animals. Oh, you guys are out?
Yeah.
Okay. Take care. I'm live. Do you want to come on live? No, I don't care. I've got to say goodbye to my friend. friends here.
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful.
All right, guys. You go eat well. Get hydrated. Unless you guys want to storm the court, I'm down. We can go live into the courthouse.
Go to jail for the rest of the year.
I'm gonna get these guys to storm a slaughterhouse with me one day. These are the true heroes right here. They go
Everywhere.
to the slaughterhouse vigils all the time, and they speak out. Not a lot of people are willing to do that, and they're there with the signs. They're burning up, and hey Michelle, how are you? Yeah, so we're at the courthouse fighting this appeal by the Ontario government. They want the full bill in place as far as gagging us and not being able to expose cruelty onto farms, which isn't really transparent now, is it?
Yeah, it's quite positive, guys.
No, I know. We won already.
Yes. Sorry, just grabbing a sip here. Oh, absolutely, vegan stoner lady. It's people like you that inspire me to get live and get on the interwebs because we get views now. It's really crazy. Mel and Steve, they had 67,000 views the other day, and they were just at a slaughterhouse. So I had almost 500 views yesterday for being at a slaughterhouse, and this is what I'm going to start doing. I think it's important that we use whatever avenues we can get to get to as many people as possible. So these live streams seem to be hitting very well. Vegan sign guy, that chip guy, they're getting a lot of views. So I'm just gonna try to replicate as much as I can. I don't know if I'm that exciting compared to them. They always seem to have like really good conversations. Maybe I'll do live street outreach. I don't know. I tend to get a little annoyed with people a bit when I'm doing like video and not video, but like if I'm not strategizing like with a 3-minute movie. I feel like when I show the 3-minute movie, then I can have a better conversation. But I don't know if I have the time to do that, but yeah. So we have Mark here. Mark's Regan's partner. So the fight goes on with Regan as well. So I encourage you to take a look at the Toronto Star's expose and the 911 phone call. It's on YouTube. You can listen to the driver and listen to what he says and tell me if you think it's rehearsed. Yeah, the court case took forever. I mean, it was 2020, June 2020 when Regan was killed. And it took years just to even get to court. And then sections of what was happening with the court case weren't provided. Like that phone call, the 911 phone call that the driver made to the police station while he was waiting, staring at Regan, saying he felt scared or whatever. We've been doing vigils since 2014. I don't know what you're scared of. And well aware of that transportation company. But that phone conversation was not provided in court. How on earth is that massive piece of evidence not provided in court? It just goes to show, right? And like, I don't like to believe in conspiracies or whatever, but yeah, Vegan Gains, yeah, he did a video where he kind of showed like the area. And if you actually, like I did it on my live stream yesterday a little bit, you can, like it takes me forever just to walk from the spot Regan was struck all the way to the lights. And so Regan was killed a day before this Ag-Gag bill was passed. Those drivers were emboldened. They were coming to do protests at our vigils. And then after Regan was killed, they came and wrote some awful signs saying that she jumped and she Epsteined herself and all these horrible things. It just goes to show how bad cognitive dissonance works, and unbelievable. But yeah, so that's the gist of that story. It's really dark on my screen, so it's hard for me to to even see any typing. I want to get maybe Mark in to say hello, but I don't know if I can. No shade on the kangaroo, but the sound. That sounds like a kangaroo court. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, it is. And one other thing is this gag bill. Get this. The agriculture minister at the time, Ernie Hardman, he used to be a dairy farmer. I mean, this is pretty common when you have these agriculture ministers. They have ties to animal agriculture, right? Or agriculture ministers have ties to animal agriculture. And so if you don't know about how like Parliament works, or if you don't know how about like the U.S. system works, there's going to be the opposition party. Well, the opposition party in this case was his nephew. His nephew was actually the critic of this gag bill that they were trying to ram through that skipped multiple levels of the normal process that it goes through. So, talk about conflict of interest. And of course, he comes on and he's like, I understand, we need transparency, but I also, think we got to be safe with the farmer. Like, it's a whole thing. It's unbelievable, yeah. Yo, VSL. How's it going? Oh, absolutely, Allison. So, we're talking about maybe Meet the Victims that happened in BC. And so 200 activists went to a farm to expose the farm. And the judge there did not allow video footage to be shown to the court of what took place in this farm. I can't remember exactly what the claim was. It was something like the vet decided that their health was in good condition, so that didn't need to be shown in court. So Amy Serrano and Nick Schaefer ultimately got convicted, and they got jail time. So I think they both had to serve 30 days, but I don't know if they appealed that, and I don't know if that's in waiting. Can you imagine? So they exposed this place, this horrific place, and it's so cruel, and they get the media in there, and the media actually shows how cruel this place is. Yet they can't expose this in court. And so what I heard was that even in the trial, the jurors, some of them were wearing mink farm shirts, like they owned a mink farm or something like that. So, the bias was there, and there wasn't much they could do with the trial, with having a jury. So, I don't know. In my opinion now, I think maybe best to avoid a jury, because maybe that's too many biased people thinking about either their food system or about whatever. It's if you were to look at the entire case and look at the transcript of the case as well as what's happened with the Regan case, you'd be blown away. Like literally, like a movie could be made out of it. Well, a few have, but those are documentaries honoring Regan, and there's one video called "There Was a Killing." So it does go a bit into, what took place that day, but there's more. There's a lot more that's going to come out. I don't know if we can expand on that, but one day we will, and you'll hear about it. So again, we're just at the courthouse in Toronto. The government is trying to get the judges to overrule their decision and go back to not allowing us to film or go on farm or whistleblow. Get this, like even employees that are working on farms with this bill and these laws introduced, even if they exposed it, they could be found guilty and charged and given a fine of $15,000 for a first offense. And so it's insane how far the government reaches in these cases. So, and also, if you're new here and if you haven't been to my channel, there's a number of activists on here that do have YouTube channels. Highly encourage you go to their channels. VPN has a channel. There's a few others. Vegan Stoner Lady also. And Yeah, go support some activists. And if you're not vegan and you're curious about what's happening here, I'm just trying to make people aware of this bill. So this bill is trying to silence whistleblowing on farms and on-farm investigations, as well as like censor some of the things we say, as well as pushing us away from, doing vigils, like going outside of slaughterhouses and just showing footage. And so the government's really trying to outreach, and we have fundamental freedoms of expression here in Canada, where we're allowed to express ourselves. We're allowed to go protest. We're allowed to go bear witness, and it's all legal. We're all doing everything that we know is legal and within our fundamental freedoms. Again, there's a charter of rights here in Canada, and we're able to follow that. I called you VPN? No. Did I? That's funny. Well, no, just kidding. VPN. Did I? I might have, yeah, I might have called you VPN. I'm going to have to watch it back. It's VPN. Okay, and then so the other thing too is maybe a lot of people aren't aware, I'm a ex-slaughterhouse inspector. Anytime I hear a truck now, I think slaughterhouse truck. So I'm a former slaughterhouse inspector. I worked for the Canadian Food Inspection Agency for 15 and a half years. Many of them in slaughterhouses, many of them in investigations, many of them in like so-called processing facilities, imports, exports, fish inspection, all these things. Hey Mark, are you coming in?
What are you doing?
I'm doing a live stream.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where do you stand here?
Yeah.
Am I photobombing your spot?
No, I want to bring you in. So everyone,
It's Kenny's idea.
this is Mark, Regan's partner.
Yeah.
So I'll just move this over here. I don't know if you can. So we are here today. Why are we here today, Mark?
Bill 156. What got yanked out of Bill 156 a year and a half ago in court through the efforts of Animal Alliance, Animal Justice, and the Regan Russell Foundation. We had 3 days in Superior Court about a year and a half ago, a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And based on all the efforts, the judge yanked portions of Bill 156 out, calling them unconstitutional, even quoted the Regan Russell Foundation's efforts in making his decision, our arguments. We had 2 lawyers there for 3 days, and the government didn't like it. So that's why we're here today, because the government's appealing the decision made by the judge to yank that stuff out of 156. They want it back in.
So let me get this straight. The judge, who's an Ontario
Superior Court Justice.
Superior Court Justice, had made a decision.
Yep.
And now the government of Ontario is bent out of shape.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that would be the agriculture minister or anybody working in that realm.
Yep.
And they're trying to go against the decision of the judge?
Exactly. We put in the work, we put in the time, and a judge listened, and we had victories. They tore apart some of the Bill 156. It's a thin edge of the wedge, and that's what they're afraid of. If you guys can get victories here and there, what's going to happen to the rest of the bill if we keep hammering? And that's what they're afraid of. They're just afraid of animal rights getting in the door, getting back the ability to get onto properties, get evidence of animal abuse, get evidence of just the brutality of where our food comes from. This one way of put, like, our food, not mine, not yours, but the food that's being processed by killing animals. It's horrible. You've been on the inside. You've seen it. I've seen it on the periphery. And it's not good. And the general public doesn't get to see that. And that's what the government doesn't want. There's too much power in animal agriculture in the industry, billions of dollars behind keeping things the way they are. And yet, you find out sometimes that it's those big corporations in animal Ag-Gag that are investing in plant-based products. They know the writing's on the wall.
Well, that's funny because they see it happening and it's happening in real time. And
Yeah.
I just when you were mentioning that, I flash back to these trucks that I see that say "Farm Fresh,"
Yeah.
and they show these animals on these beautiful farms, like even pigs outdoors, which
Oh, yeah.
we know doesn't happen. And
Yeah.
it's the image that they're giving us,
Yep.
which the government wants them to think.
Yep.
And so they come to court to try to.
Protect that image. They've spent billions of dollars protecting themselves, and then they've lobbied the government to keep it that way. They lobbied the government to keep us off property. So it went from, it used to be just a trespass violation to a criminal charge if you're caught on the property because of Bill 156. And they don't like it. And, 156, I feel personally, played a role in Regan's death. And that's why I'm still in court. People ask, where are you with all that stuff? There's a giant lawsuit going on for what happened to Regan. It's the same kind of thing if it happened to your partner or you or me. You file a claim. My claim is, it's monetary, of course, because that's the system.
Yeah.
But I'm after information, and they don't like it. So that's why I'm still battling this out. It's been 5 years and it's not done yet because I'm standing for Regan, and I believe 156 played a role in her death, and I'm going to prove it. And so we are currently waiting for a judge's decision. It's been over 4 months now since we had a hearing that was brought against me because animal agriculture didn't like what I was saying and what I was doing. So they're trying to shut me down. We're waiting on that decision. But my goal is to produce enough evidence that it can't be ignored, that 156 played a role in Regan's death and subsequently should be shut down just for that. I mean, what they've done to the trucking industry, the truckers are saying, they're yelling 156 protects them. Show me a copy of it. Have you read it? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, and back to your point, Mark, when you talk about Regan and Bill 156 being in part of the cause of her death, and it happened like a day before this bill was enacted.
Yep.
And so I remember vividly the change in tone when this bill started to come to fruition. I remember the truck drivers getting more aggressive, swearing at us, telling us, ha ha, this bill's going to pass, you're not going to be able to bear witness anymore. Meanwhile, we're just standing holding a sign and maybe filming sometimes.
You're right.
And so I remember it very vividly, feeling like anxious because I'm worried that a driver is going to be a bit more aggressive, maybe tell me off. I got to be on my toes a little bit. Never did I expect one would kill us.
No.
But
But
that's
based on the language coming out of truckers, Regan used to come home in those days prior, just like you said. She would tell me stories about truckers yelling out things like, you just wait, in 2 weeks, I can run you over and nothing happens to me. They were hearing this.
Yeah.
They haven't got it recorded, but my lawyers have said, where do you find this stuff and where do you find the time?
Yeah.
I'm up late at night digging through the most minute things, going down roads, and I've found evidence. I've got a video made by a trucker who named names.
Wow.
And he said, Bill 156 comes into play at midnight tonight, so see you tomorrow. And he named 2 activists that stood at the gates of Fearman's. He named them personally. He said, see you tomorrow. It's our turn.
Amazing.
What does that say? What does that say?
Incredible, right? And the thing is, like, we went to the courthouse. We demanded action be done.
Yeah.
But because of the lockdowns and during that time, they seemingly use that as an excuse to take so much. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years.
They didn't just use COVID as a cover for 156 and everything surrounding it. And COVID put Regan there that day because the rules came into play where you couldn't have so many people in one spot at one time in public.
Right.
So
Yep.
the groups, Regan included, broke it into segments of who can go when. Well, Regan could go almost any time. So she chose to go as often as she could during the week, as opposed to one day a week, as it used to be. They're not going to let you have 20 people once. But you can have 4 people or 5 people 3 times. That's what put her there on Friday.
Yeah.
COVID
Yeah.
rules. And then 156 put the truckers' language, at least the truckers thought it was a law for them to abuse.
Well, absolutely, and I think there's some nuance to that, because when I was reading through, and so like after Regan was killed, there'd be a lot of misinformation spread online,
Yeah.
and I swear I spent probably 2 months online just going at people online to say, no, look, this isn't what the bill reads.
Right.
This isn't what it meant,
Yep.
and it absolutely didn't mean somebody could run over and kill somebody.
That's right. It did not say that at all. You're right. I just feel like there are a lot of good professional truck drivers out there, and a lot of them were there quite frequently, understood the play, and said, where's the harm? It's 2 minutes. Others, we've got video evidence that has not been seen yet, showing aggressive drivers getting out of their trucks for no reason. Just take the 2 minutes. It's part of your job. You're already here. You just drove 2 hours. Give them 2 minutes and then pull in. No, they're trying to prove a point. And I truly feel that a lot of truckers were indoctrinated by their companies
Yeah.
and misled by their bosses as to the details of 156. And they used 156 as a rally to go against those activists. In other words, like that trucker said, it's our turn.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were angry that they just didn't like. They thought we were a threat to their job. No,
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
You'll just haul produce instead of animals. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be work available
always
in
gonna
that
be work.
industry.
Yeah.
And yeah, back to that. It's just amazing to me that the language was coming out so vividly from these companies, and you when you put everything together, you can see that the instruction did come from the higher ups.
Oh, yeah.
And the language that came up from the higher ups. And I was reminded too. I was doing a vigil not too long ago, last year, and one of the truck drivers actually got out, and he was filming us, came up to our cars and filmed right in our faces. And this is one of the guys who worked at this company.
Right, I remember
that
telling me
that was really in our face. And he seems really triggered. He doesn't seem like he's all there, and he seemed to be one that was really replicating what the uppers had said.
Exactly. I remember you pointing that guy out to me one day when we were there. And it is just that. I really think it's an indoctrination. It's an atmosphere of aggression in some of the trucking companies, but not by all the truckers. And on that day, I feel, well, I can speak to something now because it's been made public by the Toronto Star, by Kevin Donovan and his research, the 911 call that was made by the driver before he killed Regan.
Yeah.
And 98,000 people have watched the video provided by the Toronto Star. It's on their YouTube page. And as many have heard, and more, have heard that 911 call. What's not out there, I don't care if I speak to it. I have evidence of a second 911 call, 30 minutes earlier,
Wow.
verbatim of what Andrew Blake, the driver that killed Regan, was saying.
Wow.
I'm in danger, what do I do? I tracked, this is where my lawyers got surprised at how deep I go. I found the driver that made that earlier call, and he works for the same company that Andrew Blake worked for, Brussels. So what was happening at the water cooler that morning? Here's what we're going to do from now on. And those 2 trucks did exactly the same thing. They sat out in the outside lane of traffic. This was a new thing. Like, not a new thing, but they sat for 5-6 minutes. The security guard told me. It was odd.
It was very odd.
Very odd.
Yeah.
What are they doing? And the security guard he's a retired cop. I really trust him. He told me he was there, Andrew Blake was there the day before Regan was killed. Same truck, same guy, did the same thing. Now I've got...
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said his defense in court to the judge in his case was, his lawyer said, I'll paraphrase, cut my client a break. It was his first time there. We
Wow.
got evidence of that truck being there multiple times before June 19th. And I've got a shot of Regan and that truck arriving 8 weeks prior. And it was only a 4-month-old truck. And I hate to go off on that tangent, but it's all
okay,
connected to
Mark.
this.
Absolutely it is.
What I'm discovering, and it's out there, it can be found now. And if it's not, I'm speaking to it. I really don't care. Arrest me. I was expecting to get arrested a long time ago, and they didn't show up. So either they're afraid, they don't want that press.
I don't think they want
They
press.
don't want that press.
Yeah.
So what we've learned is a 4-month-old truck, and the owner of Brussels Trucking arrives after Regan's body's still on the ground. The police ask him, "We need the dash cam footage." "Oh, that hasn't worked in 3 days." It's a brand new truck, buddy.
Right.
We have a police officer who looked straight up above Regan where she was, and there's a pole with a camera on it right above her. Brand new, by the way. It wasn't there less than a year. And that's not working. Not today.
Right.
So it's these things that are so aggravating.
Well, and I think too, Mark, one thing, and I thank you for sharing all of that. So it just goes to show how far this industry is willing to go, and
Right.
and to silence. And so they took the time to really strategize on how they were going to play this out. And you know how they say time heals, right? So time goes by, and the fight isn't as much. Like even with the bill here, we had a few more activists here last year.
Yep.
So the government's trying to ploy and get in and try to, maybe minimize the amount of people that actually care, when a lot more people do really care.
Exactly. I mean, we'll never make 156 yesterday's news, and that's what they're hoping. And in my world, they're also they're hoping that in time, Regan's death will be yesterday's news. We'll back off a bit. But no, I'm not backing off. They're afraid of me putting this stuff out. So I'm just going to keep putting it out where I can.
Absolutely, Mark.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you for your courage, your bravery, and keeping the fight going. I'm right beside you, brother.
Hey,
and I
good to see you.
I love that you're
Regan
doing
said,
all this. It's great.
Yeah. We don't know if it does any good, but doing nothing does no good.
Absolutely.
So do something.
So do something, and I think that's why I'm doing these lives here, and hopefully that'll inspire more people to get out and speak out against what's happening here with the ag industry, with the animal agriculture industry, with all these injustices surrounding it. If you can speak out about Regan Russell, go to your page, go watch some of the videos, go to the Toronto Star, see the phone call, and see what the government originally said about it. Go see what's the news said about it, and see how different that is. Really encourage you guys to do that, and we'll thank you so much, Mark, and we'll get to another conversation soon, I'm sure, right?
Oh, we can go on.
Oh, I know we
good
can.
to see you,
Yeah,
David.
yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here. So I hope you guys. We still got a bunch of people in here. I hope you guys were interested. You're going? All right, we'll see you. I hope you guys took that in. That's an exclusive there by Mark, Regan's husband, who, got the call that day that his partner, his life partner, his partner in crime, so to say, was killed at a slaughterhouse. You can imagine, losing a loved one and having to go through that. And Mark's, he's nonstop. He's done so much, and he's not going to stop until there's actual justice, because there hasn't been justice at all for Regan. And this bill is a stain on that. This bill was actually, in my opinion, it emboldened the truck drivers to go, and this is a perfect sign right here to let's see. Yeah, I think so. It's hard because the brightness display isn't off, but Yeah. So if you can see that, guys, that's why we're here today. We were just talking with Mark Russell and, his experience and his fight that continues on in Regan's memory, and also this plague, Bill 156, which is incredible that the government would come and try to repeal the bill or not repeal the bill, sorry, fight against the actual judgment by the judge. So this is Peter McQueen. You want to be on for a little bit? I figure we're interviewing some people. We're live. Yeah, we're on YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. So, Peter McQueen, I ask you to provide me someone who does more activism than this gentleman right here.
Jenny, probably.
maybe Jenny McQueen. I feel like you guys are tied for first in Canada. I'm trying to creep up and catch up to them, but so what do you have to say about today? How do you feel the event went?
Well, the event was great. The protest was great. I was happy to help with some of the chanting and handing out chant sheets and things like that and bringing some signs. But I thought it was really good. About 55 people turned up, so
yeah,
nice.
That's a good amount of people.
And especially in this heat. I mean, people, had to skip their lunch and all sorts of stuff and come out and in the heat, and some from distances away and some from close, but
yeah. So I was as I was driving up, Peter, I saw maybe 5 or 6 slaughterhouse trucks, and one of the trucks actually passed Highway 6, so I know they're going to Quebec.
Oh, seriously?
So a pig slaughterhouse truck at, I think it was about 10:30-ish, is driving towards Quebec in this weather.
This weather, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting weather. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, no animal should be just transported in this weather, no matter where they're going, Quebec or locally,
Well, yeah, I mean, if we were to do so, like if we were to put dogs in that situation, or even if a dog was in a car without air conditioning.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not like these pigs have air conditioning. They have some airflow from the inside, but it's all heat.
There's a couple of trucks that have fans.
Right.
A couple of one design I've seen, that one company I've seen has some with fans, but again, how much coolest is that going to be?
Right.
Not much.
Right. I wanted to ask you, Peter, because part of the reason I'm doing the live streams now is because I've seen a number of views, a lot of intakes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a bunch of people on here. I think I had 48 at one point.
Nice.
And, there's a lot of people getting active now, and maybe I'm trying to inspire people to possibly do more live streams and get out there and get active. Is there something that like sparked you? Is there a spark that you had that made you so driven? Because you do a lot. It's your life, right? This is exactly what you do, which is very heroic, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, that's nice to say. Not sure how heroic I am, but I do a lot in the background and support other people, but and schlep things around and help organize things, I guess. So yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I was active as much as I could be while I was working. Once I retired, I had more time. I used to be an elementary school teacher, so once I retired from that, I had more time to go out to things in the daytime, and help organize things during the day.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was just, weekends and evenings when I wasn't writing report cards or IEPs or other things.
Teacher right here.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you do what you can with the time you have, right? So.
Yeah. And was there like a spark? Was there a speech? Was there someone who said, "Hey, Peter," in the back of your head, "Do this, get active, push out"? Is there any inspiring person that you recognize or want to recognize?
Well, I guess I was inspired by Anita Kreinz, who co-founded the Animal Save movement. I'd gone to a couple of her a few of her events when I could. Again, I was working, so it was only during maybe in the summer or something, or on a school break. But some of her vigils, but particularly when she was charged for giving water to pigs in 2015, and had the trial which was well covered by the media internationally.
Yeah, that was
and,
big.
and actually helped the Save movement grow a huge amount.
Yeah. And she had no fear, which was
No.
which was amazing.
Yeah. And of course she was acquitted, largely because the pigs were slaughtered. So, the claim was there had been economic damage to it was criminal mischief, right?
Wow.
Which was considered to be economic damage to the farmers and the trucker, I guess. But
So
that's
kind of curious that happened then, because now that we're sitting here with the Bill 156, one of the rules is that we can't give water.
can't give water.
So,
Yeah.
how can they prove economic damage at this point?
Well, the judge who overturned part of the bill, part of the law, which is being appealed by the province of Ontario right now, that overturning, he accepted the Attorney General of the Province of Ontario's argument that giving water to animals on the way to transport could cause harm to the animals because you don't know what's in those bottles, right? Could be something else, could be someone poisoning the pigs and contaminating the food supply.
Right.
So he accepted that, as far as I'm concerned, ridiculous, facetious argument.
Mm-hmm.
But he did accept that part, but struck down other parts of the bill that impeded undercover investigators and people, whistleblowers, which is now what the government's now trying to get reinstated, that part.
Which is crazy to me. They talk about transparency.
Mm-hmm.
They have these beautiful trucks going out with happy farms. And it's wild because they're policing themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And so not only are they allowed to police themselves, if a worker were to say something, they could ultimately be charged and fined under this bill,
Well,
which is pretty
One of the things that was
wild.
interesting this morning in court was that the lawyer for the Attorney General of Ontario argued that even though the law says that a whistleblower has to report any abusive situation they see immediately, they argued that he said there's nothing in the law that says they can't do it anonymously.
Right.
So they're protected.
That's amazing. And so it kind of reminds me of this whole, Bill 156 with the truck drivers coming around. And Mark and I were actually really talking about that and how we felt the truckers were emboldened by this law, and it seemingly didn't feel like they understood the law.
No, although there is some indemnity for truckers. Certainly, there's something, I can't remember the actual wording, but it's something to the effect that if they, accidentally hit someone, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
If someone stood in front of the truck, which is what they used in Regan's case, even though the law wasn't fully in place, even though it had received royal assent, so it was law, but the regulations hadn't been written and posted yet for it, so it wasn't in effect yet.
Which is wild, and I wonder if that was ever argued on Regan's case. I wonder if Mark is aware of that.
I don't know. But even for Toronto Cow Save, we noticed immediately that the law was passed, that the truckers some of whom used to stop and give us a few minutes with the cows, they stopped doing that immediately upon the law being announced.
Right. And I remember that. Obviously, I was there too.
And there is some wording in the law about that if a trucker or a farmer permits someone to touch an animal, if it's a trucker, they stop their truck, or a farmer allows someone into the farm. If they argue after the fact that it was under duress, then you can be charged.
So they can essentially set you up if they want to.
Yeah, they could.
That's wild.
They could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Peter, I mean, it's informative. I really appreciate you guys putting on the event. I know it's getting a bit late, so I'm going to let you go and probably end the stream in a few minutes and probably take some questions. But I appreciate your time and all you do.
Yeah,
and
glad I happened by.
yeah, I'm glad you came by, and thanks for the signs.
Yes,
And
signs,
are you guys going to eat afterwards?
Probably somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll text you in a bit to see
Okay,
where you're
great.
at.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Peter.
care.
Take care. All right, guys. Antifa and BLM punks. What? What do you mean? How's it going, guys? I think I'm like the last one here, maybe. So, yeah, I'm not sure if you guys, yes, please don't forget to like the live, subscribe, share, tell all your friends. I think that's, there's another streamer guy who says tell all your friends, and it kind of boosted his subscribership, I guess. How's it going, Martin, Melon Steve, Blank Geezer? I'm sure I might be missing a few. So if you're not caught up, we were just at court today fighting for our fundamental rights and freedoms at this place. And I'm not sure if you heard Mark's testimony. That was pretty powerful, talking about how, it isn't resolved what happened with Regan. It's been 5 years and still justice has not been enacted. It's crazy. We always think back to that day and how it could have changed. But we feel like this bill, this law, emboldened truck drivers to be a bit more aggressive towards us. And you heard it right from Mark that some of these things were rehearsed. And I look forward to the day that all this comes out and people hear about exactly how animal agriculture conspires to shut down any dissent. Obviously, $1 billion, trillion industry that profiteers off innocent sentient beings, shooting mothers in the face, inseminating them, taking semen from males. This is why we're here out speaking out, because it's ridiculous. It's 2025 and people are still doing this to innocent animals. Like, when are people going to wake up and give their heads a shake and realize that dogs, cats are no different from pigs, chickens, and cows, etc. We don't need to eat animals. It's not necessary for our health. In fact, I would argue it's worse for our health. Given that I worked in animal agriculture, I've seen firsthand, what takes place in this industry. These animals are covered in their own feces, their filth. They have diseases probably that the public doesn't even know about. Government conceals these things. They state that they're transparent on their websites. You go to their websites and nothing's there. And then you got to put in access to information. And then they talk about privacy issues. It's all a lie. It's a scam. People, no, I'm not at a slaughterhouse. That's where I was yesterday. I'm actually at court in Toronto, Mel and Steve. So we were here to show our side of the story when it comes to this Ag-Gag Bill 156 that tries to silence whistleblowers. So originally, we won our court case. And they kept some parts of the bill in. We couldn't feed water to the animals, and we couldn't stop trucks. That's the only two parts that I recall that were kept within the law. And the other parts were the whistleblowing, the trespass conviction, the fine of $15,000. Those parts were removed, allowing us to continue our fundamental rights and freedoms, which is enshrined in our Charter of Rights here in Canada. And so the judge agreed with us, but as Mark was talking about earlier, the Ontario government's a little bit bent out of shape, especially the agriculture minister. who wants to shut down any whistleblowing or any dissent when it comes to what's happening on farms. So that's what we're here today. We had about 50 or 60 of us out here earlier today protesting this ridiculous notion that the Superior Court judge who made this decision has to have the government of Ontario come back and try to fight again for this bill that was not only skipped through the process, but was argued in favor for a former dairy farmer, the agriculture minister, and the critic opposite him was his nephew. So there's some bias there and some weird ongoing. So I wanted to share that today. I know it's a little bit outside of what we normally do, maybe go to slaughterhouses or do some street outreach, but I feel like it's really important that we fight against tyranny, and this is tyranny. It is a holocaust what's happening to these animals, and I don't think people realize how much so. If that was your family member, if that was your mom, dad, sister, daughter, son, parent going to that slaughterhouse, you wouldn't leave. You would not leave. You would not think about it for a second. You would be there 24 hours. You would do everything to shut it down. And so that's our inherent speciesism. I guess I understand that we have to be practical about things and not go get arrested and stuff like that, but maybe have more dissent outside of that. And that's why I'm doing it today. People like Mel and Steve inspire me to get out here and just use my voice. It might not be the best voice. I might be scattered. I might be a little bit boring at sometimes, but I'm out here trying to make and spread awareness. And honestly, you can too. Just think about it for a second. You know, you have that camera in your hand and you're able to provide that action. Thanks so much for today. And I don't know if we actually met?
I don't think it's person.
Not in person, yeah. So I'm just doing a live stream. So we're just trying to inspire other activists to do live streams and stuff like that. So are you going to be in Ottawa?
Yeah.
For the Veg Fest?
Yes.
Yes, I'm going for We the Free.
Oh, amazing.
So I'll be there for that. And
Yeah, we should definitely connect.
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll see you soon.
Thanks. Yeah. And so that was the organizer of the event today. And yeah, sorry if I'm getting a little jumpy. I'm just pissed off that I actually have to be out here, when everybody's just kind of wandering and doing their lives, which is fine. It's fine, but like people just don't want to contemplate these things, and it drives me absolutely crazy. It's like, how can't you, you never kick a dog. You would never kick a dog. If you saw someone kicking a dog, you would stop them from kicking a dog. And we're putting pigs into gas chambers or having them transported today. I am dying of sweat. I'm under this tree. I am dying of sweat today. There's pigs going from Ontario, and I don't know if you know how big Ontario is, all the way to Quebec in the middle of the day, plus 45°C, sweating, panting, dying. And this is how we're treating animals. And for what? A carcinogen? Something that's going to give us cancer? I'm not surprised it gives us cancer, because we shouldn't be doing it in the first fucking place. Wake the fuck up, people. Unbelievable. And it's like, so there's a certain group of people that have to stand up and fight. And it does bother me a little bit that some people don't get out and fight and stand up when they have that opportunity. I spent my entire life doing this, and I'm not here to shit on anybody, but this is the thing. If we don't get enough of us speaking out against this, there's going to be more of those pigs going on that slaughterhouse truck to slaughter. I estimate, and this is just my own personal estimation, between the age of 20 and 70, you have your choice to make or get whatever food choice you want. So you're responsible, you should be held accountable. And I estimate that one person will eat between 5 and 10,000 animals over a lifetime. If you can just switch one person, that will shut down the slaughterhouse that I go to almost every week for one day. One day that will shut that down, and all those 10,000 beings won't have to go through that fucking experience, suffering coughs and living in confined sheds and having diarrhea and living in their shit. Like, come on, guys. It's time to wake up. Hey, Mary.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just ranting on a live stream,
Okay, had I known, I wouldn't have bothered.
No, it's okay. I'm okay. It's been a long one. So we're at like 70 minutes, and we have people talking in the chat here and stuff like that. And no, no. Well, I need to shut places like this down, but other than that,
Okay, nice to see
yeah, good to see you too, Mary. Thank you. Yeah, just saying goodbye. Yes, activists would get a job. It would be great. Yes, I actually did have a job. I worked for the Canadian government for about 22 years. And then I started to suffer PTSD. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with PTSD and some other things due to my time working in animal agriculture. I get flashbacks constantly, several times a day. I have night terrors. I don't sleep very well. And it's all because of the shit I saw in animal agriculture. So I'm retired. I'm actually retired early. I retired early due to that. So what else would you like me to do with my time? My therapist says, yeah, speak about your experience because that's probably the best thing you can do. So that's what I'm doing, man. What are you doing? What are you doing to improve the world and the lives of others, other than shitting on people that are speaking out, who have the courage to speak out, who want to do what's right? I'm thinking about dogs being inside of a hot car and people thinking we need to smash a window to save that dog. Yet there was, hundreds, if not thousands of pigs that I saw today on several trucks headed to slaughter in the hottest conditions ever. So if you hate animals, that's on you. That says a lot about you. That's why I ask people why they hate animals. They say they don't. They should be treated better. Well, how about just not doing that at all to them? Anyways, going off on a tangent. Thank you guys for being here. It's really hard to see the chat. I could barely see. I don't know if I can turn my phone brightness up or not, but I think it's at max. I wonder if I can go indoors. Maybe I'll get booted out. But then the service might be down too, so yeah. So what's going on with you guys? My goal here is just to see if I can inspire you to maybe create an Instagram account, put a link in your bio, share a video, get out to a live stream. These live streams are getting massive amounts of views. There's like 20 people here now. I did one yesterday. I had over 500 views, and the last time I did it was a couple hundred views. I mean, you're not going to get that, and YouTube wasn't that great before as far as views were concerned. Like I've done the live streams, 5 years ago, 5+ years ago, and I wasn't getting a lot of people tuning in. But as you can see, like I've only done it a few times, and if you look at other influencers, Mel and Steve, look at the vegan sign guy, you look at that chip guy, and I'm sure there's others that I'm missing. We're getting views, and so the views end up starting the conversation. And we know there's a lot of cognitive dissonance out there. We know there's a lot of people that don't want to see animals hurt, and maybe they think you have to eat animals, but we're here to show that you don't and express that. And we need more of us. We need more of us to speak out. And despite what some people might say, get a job, blah, 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 no, I don't want to get a job. I would rather speak out against injustice and fight against what's happening and change it for the better world. Like, can you imagine if we were to switch the world and we went to a fully plant-based world? We looked at animals not as commodities and we viewed them as individuals. How much of a better world we would have? We would have so much of a better world. Yeah, VPM. I almost said it again, VPN. Maybe VPN might be something we can think about. No. So what's going on, guys? What am I missing? Michael, how are you doing? Do we have any trolls? Has that all been happening? It's really difficult to see. I wish I had. Yeah, it's hard to see out here. Yes. So I'll probably end it soon. Probably should get some food. Did this live stream yesterday, so if you haven't checked out any of the stuff I've done lately, it's not a lot. I also have an Instagram account. Go under the same name. Go follow me there. Share, like, subscribe, whatever the heck it is. Just do it. And yeah, feel free to follow me here, subscribe and share and tell all your friends and all that fun stuff. So no trolls. I think it's because, well, no, there always are a lot of trolls, but maybe just not in this stream. So, but it's great to see all of you guys. Really appreciate you being here. I think Mark's testimonial there was really powerful. So if you don't know Mark's Regan Russell's partner, and he's still fighting against the decision that allowed a man to kill his wife and get fined and probation, and on top of that, this guy raised, I think it was almost $1 million. So this guy basically became a millionaire for taking someone's life and not getting charged and all this stuff. It's crazy. It's absolutely absurd. So I'm glad we got Mark's testimonial there. I know you can sense it, right? You can feel his emotion in it, and this is what he's been working on for years. And his name's Mark, and yeah, he's been doing the fight, and we're all trying to support him. And yeah, it's unbelievable that something like that could happen to anybody, let alone somebody as wonderful as Regan was. So pretty terrible stuff. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there, guys. I see so many people, and I hate to end it, but I gotta get back home, and it was a bit of a journey to get here. Not that I'm a journeyer. Does anybody know where I can get some marshmallows? What's his name? What's the marshmallow guy's name again? Azai or Abby or some shit like that. Yeah, that guy is definitely getting away with murder. And you heard it here, actually. Things that I didn't even know is the coaching, that the call beforehand was the exact same tone. Oh, Ali, that's right, Ali Tabrezi. Yeah, that guy's. What I noticed actually with that guy is, first of all, like, he doesn't know how to pre-plan. I mean, he can pre-plan. Wait, let me get this straight. Ali, if you're ever listening to this, you can pre-plan going to a foreign country to film and document what's going on there, but you can't pre-plan to get vegan marshmallows? Bro, give me a break. And so you can see he's kind of like leaning to the alt-right Christian crew or whatever. And what's more is, I looked at his profile. Like, I didn't see a lot of activism. He claims he did a lot of activism. I was this and that. I need to see more receipts than that. Like, you holding a sign at a protest. Like, were you an activist? Like, I don't know. Seems like more of a narcissist, or he's like just pretty lazy, and he's just about himself. I went vegan for myself kind of person, It's kind of weak. But yeah, I'd like to, if anybody can do a thumbnail with his head in a mushroom, and then I'll do a response video to him. But there's already some great response videos out there. Mick the Vegan. I just watched, what is it? Cheap Lazy Vegan or something? I forgot her name. She's in Canada. So she did a two-part response to him, and there's some others that did as well. These people, man, like, the epitome of like, it's all about me. It's about me, Oh my gosh, I wanted marshmallows and I couldn't plan ahead. Yeah. Selling out the animals for damn marshmallows, right? Like, bro, like I was saying to, who was I saying to? Chip? Yeah, Chip and I don't know which live stream it was. There was somebody else who was saying it too. Is we should, maybe it was on Discord. Oh, it was on Discord. We should like give everybody at camp out free vegan marshmallows, or we should send like a massive shipment of marshmallows to Ali's house and just dump it on his front lawn, and then he'll have marshmallows forever, right? Right, Ali? Oh, I need to get mushrooms. Anyways, I can go on for days, guys, and if I carry on, I'll be out here forever, and which is not a bad thing. I'd actually rather be outside of a vigil or slaughterhouse right now, so I could show the animals and what they're going through. But I'll end it there, and yeah, unless if you have anything, I really appreciate you being here. Please go support activists that are in the chat. Pretty much everybody here has a YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to them. Go to their Instagrams, go to their posts, comment on it, show the love. We all need it. And yeah, get active. You know, I'm doing the live streams. I'm not the best on them. I'm a little awkward and stuff like that, but that really doesn't matter. What matters is there's going to be a certain amount of views on here. There's going to be a certain amount of people that lurked, and they're going to see some maybe conversations that they might actually agree with. So that's the whole point. Anyways, I think I said anyways about 1,000 times. I will see you guys all on the next one. Hopefully I'll get one going soon. Go learn about Bill 156. Go learn about what happened to Regan Russell. And most importantly, go fight for the animals. And I got to learn how to shut these off so it's not awkward at the end. Hey, keep it down. I can't even see the end button. Okay.